Danny, a supermarket employee, had just finished his shift and was heading to his car when he noticed an elderly woman struggling with her groceries. Offering his help, he assisted her in loading her bags into her car and ensured she was prepared for her drive home. They exchanged smiles and parted ways, unaware of the consequences this simple act of kindness would soon bring. The next morning, Danny's routine was unexpectedly disrupted by a knock at his door. Greeting him were the elderly woman he had helped, accompanied by 2 police officers. The officers introduced themselves and explained that they were investigating a string of burglaries targeting elderly victims. The method involved someone offering to help with groceries to gain access to their homes. Danny, who had shown kindness to the elderly woman, was now a suspect. His heart sank as he tried to comprehend the situation. The officers asked if he had helped a woman, and when she confirmed it, they promptly arrested Danny. Accused of a crime he didn't commit, he found himself in a police car, handcuffed and bewildered, heading to the station for questioning. And at the station, the interrogation began. Officer Dyke asked Danny about his whereabouts the previous night, to which he had no alibi since he was home alone. The situation worsened when a crowbar was found in his house during a search, suggesting his involvement in the burglaries. Desperate and confused, Danny struggled to maintain his composure as the evidence against him mounted. Despite the overwhelming evidence, a glimmer of hope appeared during the interrogation. Officer Rodriguez asked Danny what he did after helping the elderly woman, known as Vera. He explained that he saw her safely home and then returned to his own routine. However, this inadvertently made him appear more suspicious, as he had unknowingly followed Vera's route home. The questioning intensified, but before he could proceed further, Vera intervened. She had been observing the situation and suddenly declared that she believed Danny was innocent. He mentioned a suspicious man she had seen at the supermarket, suggesting he could be the actual burglar. The officers were skeptical, but decided to follow this new lead. They brought Danny and Vera back to the supermarket to review the security footage. As they watched the tapes, Vera pointed out the man she found suspicious. If the footage revealed this man awkwardly bumping into Vera, which seemed deliberate. Recognizing the man as a regular customer, Danny felt a mix of relief and confusion. He argued that this man, known for his helpfulness, might not be the culprit they were looking for. Yet his familiarity with the man and the circumstances presented a new angle in the investigation. The officers decided to keep both Danny and the regular customer under consideration as suspects. They needed more concrete evidence to distinguish between the two. Danny suggested they observe the supermarket at the time the regular customer usually visited, hoping to catch him in the act or clear his own name. Reluctantly, Officer Dyke agreed to Danny's plan to observe the supermarket. They positioned themselves discreetly, with Danny and Vera in the surveillance room and Officer Rodriguez on the floor. As the clock struck the usual time of the regular customer's visit, tension filled the air. Just as Danny predicted, the man entered the store. The surveillance team watched closely as he interacted with the customers, particularly the elderly ones. Everything seemed normal until he offered to help an older man with his groceries. This gesture, though seemingly innocent, turned suspicious when the man accidentally caused the older man's wallet to fall. He quickly handed it back, but not without sneaking a peek inside. He'd convinced they had their perpetrator. The officers decided to act. Officer Rodriguez stayed back to monitor the situation further while Officer Dyke returned to update Danny and Vera. They explained to the older man what had happened and enlisted his help to set a trap for the suspect. While the plan involved observing the suspect if he attempted to follow the older man home, as night fell, their patience paid off. The suspect was spotted sneaking around the older man's house. Officers Dyke and Rodriguez acted swiftly, arresting him as he tried to enter the house. Back at the police station, the captured suspect was identified as the regular customer. Despite his seemingly helpful demeanor, his actions fit the pattern of the burglaries. Danny was finally cleared of all charges, and the true culprit was charged and later convicted. The ordeal had been harrowing for Danny, but it also forged an unexpected bond with Vera, who had stood by him throughout the ordeal. Grateful for her support, Danny often visited her, their friendship strengthened by the shared experience. That changed as the case concluded. Danny felt a massive relief wash over him. The arrest and conviction of the true culprit meant he could finally move on from the nightmare that had upended his life. After a brief reflection on the events, he was thankful for Vera's intuition and persistence, which played a critical role in clearing his name. In the aftermath, Danny's appreciation for the elderly woman grew. He made it a point to visit Vera regularly, bringing her groceries and spending time chatting over tea. These visits weren't just out of gratitude, they became a source of comfort and friendship for both. Vera, who had been a pivotal figure in proving his innocence, offered Danny wisdom and advice, drawing from her long life experiences. That the bond they developed was unexpected but deeply valued. It reminded Danny of the importance of community, trust, and looking out for one another. While the ordeal was challenging, it brought unexpected positives, including a profound friendship and a renewed sense of justice. Danny often reflected on the incident as a pivotal moment in his life. It taught him about resilience, the complexities of human nature, and the importance of advocating for oneself. Despite the initial misjudgments and accusations, the truth prevailed thanks to the diligent work of the officers and Vera's unwavering support. This experience, while difficult, ultimately reinforced Danny's faith in the community and the justice system. It also left him with a lifelong friend in Vera, whose belief in his innocence had changed the course of his lifelong friend in Vera, whose belief in his innocence had changed the course of his life forever.